Welcome back to the deep dive. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026. And if you're listening to this, there's a pretty good chance you're looking at a suitcase, or maybe you're already behind the wheel.
Driving south on Highway 1.
Yeah, exactly. Hoping that coffee kicks in before you hit the border.
Heading for Baja. It's the dream drive.
It is. But today, we're not talking about the surf forecast. We're looking at this stack of documents here that, frankly, looks a little intimidating.
It does. We're talking legal declaration letters, filing guides from the SAT, that's the Mexican IRS, and, clarification reports from just last month.
January 2026.
Yeah. And it sounds dry, I know, but if you're a certain kind of person, a U.S. citizen with a Mexican permanent residency card, this stack of papers is the only thing standing between you and, well, walking home.
And that is the hook right there. We are unpacking a very specific, very high-stakes puzzle today. Let's set the scene. You love Mexico. You got the house in El Rosario, maybe Todos Santos. You finally got your Residente Permanente card.
The Mexican green card.
Yeah.
No more tourist visa runs.
You feel like a local. But, and here's the but, you still drive your F-150 with California plates. And this is where the dream just, it hits a legal wall.
It really does.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Mexican law basically say residents can't drive foreign-plated cars?
That is the paradox.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where people get into trouble.
So the question we're trying to answer today is, are you breaking the law every time you drive to the store? And if the Guardia Nacional pulls you over, do you lose your truck?
The short answer is,
I said,
you might be. And yes, legally, they could take the truck.
oh.
But, and this is why we're doing this deep dive, there is a needle you can thread. We're going to walk through how to use Article 106 of the Customs Law to prove that, while your body is in Mexico, your fiscal soul is still in the United States.
Fiscal soul. I like that. But, let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
If I'm a permanent resident of Mexico, doesn't that just make me a resident? Why is driving my U.S. car a problem? It feels like a total catch-22.
It does feel that way, but you have to see it from their side. It's about taxes, really.
Yeah.
The general rule for the Mexican government is simple. If you live here, you pay taxes here, and you drive a Mexican car that you've paid import duties on.
Right. You pay to play.
Exactly. So if you're a tax resident of Mexico, driving a foreign car is basically contraband. The word they use is smuggling.
Smuggling. That is a heavy word for just driving your own car to your own house.
It is. Now, here's where it gets tricky and where you see all the bad advice on Facebook. Baja is a free zone, a zona libre.
And in the free zone, you don't need a TIPP, a temporary import permit.
Correct. A U.S. vehicle can stay there technically forever.
So people hear free zone and they think, great, I'm safe, the rules don't apply.
They think the car's the issue. But the car isn't the issue at all. The driver is the issue. The law for the free zone says a resident abroad, so someone who lives in the U.S. or Canada, can drive that car. But the second you flash that permanent resident card at a checkpoint,
the officer looks at the card, then looks at your California plates, and he does the math.
And he says, you aren't a resident abroad. You have a green card. You live here. This car is illegal.
And that's the trap. But obviously, people do this. Thousands of them. Are they all just getting lucky? Or is there some kind of loophole?
It's not a loophole so much as a specific legal provision. We have to use what some of these legal briefs call the two hats theory.
Okay, two hats.
You're in two hats at the same time, and you need to make sure the officer sees the right one. Hat 1 is your immigration status. That's your permanent residency. It lets you be in the country.
Okay, hat 1. Got it.
Hat 2 is your fiscal residency. This is where you pay taxes, where your income is from, where your life is centered. You can be an immigration resident of Mexico, but a fiscal resident of the U.S.
They're not mutually exclusive. I mean, be both at the same time.
No, not at all. You can.
Right.
In international law, there's a concept called the tiebreaker rule. If you have a home in both countries, where are you actually a resident for tax purposes? The law looks at your center of vital interests.
Center of vital interests. That sounds like a philosophy term, like my heart is in Baja, but my wallet is in Fresno.
It's actually a very hard accounting term. It asks, where do you make your money? Where's your family? Where do you vote? And, the big one, where do you file your 1040?
Ah, the tax return.
Right. If the answer is the United States, then under Article 106, you are still considered a resident abroad for customs, even with a Mexican green card.
Okay, I buy the theory. but I'm picturing myself at a checkpoint near Cartagena. It's 95 degrees. The officer is not interested in my lecture on international tax law.
No, he is not.
Theory is great, but I need something physical, something I can hand him.
You absolutely do. You cannot just say it. You have to
Right.
prove it. And the sources we've got here, they outline a very specific legal folder.
This is the don't go to jail binder.
Essentially, yes. And I want to be clear. It's not just loose papers in the glove box with, napkins and tire gauges.
Right.
It needs to be a constructed defense.
Okay. Walk us through it. What's item number 1?
Item number 1 is proof of U.S. fiscal residency. The sources all recommend the first page of your most recent IRS Form 1040.
The tax return, why that specifically? Isn't that, private?
It is, and you can black out the money parts if you want, but you need that header because it's a federal declaration. It shows your U.S. address right at the top. It proves you're reporting your global income to Uncle Sam.
Okay. Strongest possible evidence.
Right.
But I could file a tax return from anywhere. What about proving where I actually live?
That's item 2. Home ties. You need a recent utility bill, water, electric, and a property tax statement from your U.S. home.
Let me ask this. Does a P.O. box work, or one of those mail forwarding services?
Absolutely not. The sources are so clear on this. A P.O. box just suggests you're transient. A water bill proves you are physically maintaining a structure. You're keeping the lights on in Merced. It anchors you.
Okay, so tax return, light bill. What about the car itself?
Item 3 is vehicle ID. You need a valid U.S. driver's license and current U.S. registration. And here's the kicker that people miss all the time.
What's that?
The addresses have to match.
Match what? Match the tax return?
Match each other, and ideally, match all the other documents. You can't have a California driver's license and a car registered to some Shell LLC in Montana because it was cheaper.
Oh, I know people who do the Montana LLC thing. You see those plates everywhere.
It is a huge red flag in this specific context. The officer sees a California license and a Montana plate, and the whole story just falls apart. It looks like you're dodging taxes.
Consistency is key.
It's everything.
What about insurance? I assume I need Mexican insurance.
You do, yes. But the sources highlight a really specific detail here. Your policy has to be written for foreign-plated vehicles or tourist vehicles.
Why does the type of policy matter? Isn't coverage just coverage?
Legally, no. It's a subtle but really powerful piece of evidence.
How so?
Well, if you were a Mexican tax resident, you would have to import the car and get domestic insurance. By holding a foreign vehicle policy, you're showing that even the insurance company has vetted you as a non-resident.
Huh. It's like a third-party verification.
Exactly. You're saying, officer, look, if I lived here full-time, the insurance company wouldn't have even sold me this policy.
So the whole folder's basically shouting, I'm just a visitor.
I'm a visitor with a permanent resident card. That is the needle you have to thread.
Okay, that covers a standard check. But our sources mention some advanced moves for people who want to be bulletproof.
The nuclear option.
Yeah. What are those?
There are 2 big ones. And the first one involves engaging directly with the SAT, the Mexican IRS.
Wait, hold on. I thought the whole point was to avoid the Mexican IRS. That feels like poking the bear.
It sounds counterintuitive, I know. But if you have a permanent resident card, you probably already have an RFE, a Mexican tax ID.
Right, you need it for everything now.
So the danger is the government sees that RFC number and assumes you should be paying them taxes.
Okay.
The strategy is to file a declaration called persona física en ceros, natural person in zeros.
In zeros? What does that mean?
You're formally filing a tax return that says, I earn 0 pesos in Mexico. You are declaring sin obligaciones fiscales, no tax obligations.
And they give you a receipt for that filing.
Yes, an accused de recibo. The source material calls this the ace in the hole.
I can see why.
Imagine the officers pushing back, and you pull out a document from the Mexican federal government itself and says, we agree, this person owes us nothing.
That shuts down the argument right there. A roadside cop can't really argue with the federal treasury.
It uses their own bureaucracy against them. It's very powerful.
Okay, what's the second advanced move?
It's called the Carta de Declaración, or the Article 106 letter.
Is that a form you download or something?
Yeah. No, it's a template you create yourself. The sources give you the text. It's a formal letter, in Spanish, addressed to whom it may concern.
And what does it say?
It says, basically, my permanent resident status is for legal stay only. My tax home is in Merced, California, and under Article 106 of the Customs Law, I am maintaining my vehicle as a temporary import.
So instead of trying to explain the law on the side of the road in broken Spanish, you just hand them a letter that quotes it for them.
Precisely. It signals that you are not just some confused tourist. You know the statutes. It completely changes the power dynamic of that stop.
Let's talk about that, the power dynamic. Because all the paperwork in the world isn't going to help if you just panic when you see the flashing lights.
True. Panic makes you look guilty.
So let's play this out. I'm driving near San Quentin. I see the Guardia National. They wave me over. Heart starts pounding. What's the play-by-play?
Okay, so the sources lay out a roadside interaction script. And step 1 is the most important part.
And that is?
Control the first impression. Do not lead with your Mexican permanent resident card.
Really? But isn't that my legal status? Why would I hide it?
You're not hiding it. You're just not volunteering it as your primary identity. If you hand that over first, you frame the whole conversation as, I am a resident.
And you want to frame it as, I am a U.S. citizen visiting.
You got it.
Yeah.
So you say, Buenos dias, and you hand over your U.S. passport and California driver's license. That's it.
And a lot of the time, that might be enough.
It might, but
it's
coming 26. They might have a scanner, or they might just ask, ¿Tiene papeles mexicanos? Do you have Mexican papers?
And that's the pivot point.
Yes. If they ask, you produce the card. But, and you have to memorize this, you immediately use the key phrase from the script.
What's the phrase?
Soy residente permanente para migración, pero residente fiscal en el extranjero.
I'm a permanent resident for immigration, but a fiscal resident abroad.
You have to say it. Verbally claim that status. And then you hand over the legal folder, you show the 1040, the utility bill, all of it.
It's like a poker game. You don't show your best cards until you have to.
It's a negotiation of status. And this is the perfect time to use that insurance logic we talked about.
Remind me how that goes.
If the officer is still pushing back, you point to the insurance policy. And you say, officer, look at this. It's for a foreign vehicle. It would be illegal for me to even buy this policy if I were a Mexican tax resident. The fact that I have it proves my status.
I'm so legal that even the insurance underwriters agree with me.
It's very hard to argue with. You're shifting the burden of proof off of you and onto official documents.
Okay, we have to talk about the elephant on the highway, though. It's February 2026. The expat forums are full of fear right now. They're taking cars. The government is cracking down. Is any of this true?
We have to separate the signal from the noise here. The panic is real, but the threat to you, the legal expat, is likely exaggerated.
Okay.
The sources for this deep dive actually include a clarification report from the Baja California Sur government specifically about this 2026 panic.
And where did it come from? Why now?
It's all because of the chocolate car regularization decree. That program just expired on January 1st, 2026.
For our listeners, what's a chocolate car?
A chocolate is an illegally imported car. Usually an old beater brought down from the U.S. by a Mexican national. No registration, no plates, no taxes paid.
And there was a program to make them legal.
Right, an amnesty program. And that just ended. So now the government is cracking down on those cars.
Okay. So they're looking for unregistered, illegal imports driven by locals.
Exactly. But when they set up a checkpoint, they stop everyone. And that's where the friction happens.
So people see car seizures in the headlines and assume it applies to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we have a quote here from Claudia Angulo Castro. She's the director of revenue for BCS. She went on record to say the state government is not seizing cars.
They aren't.
She said they don't even have the jurisdiction. Only Federal Customs A&M, or the SAT, can actually seize a vehicle. And she confirmed there is no instruction for some mass sweep of tourists or legal residents.
So if I'm driving my legally registered Toyota Tacoma, they are not hunting for me.
They're not hunting you. But, and this is big but, if you get stopped for something else and you look like a resident but act like a tourist and you don't have your paperwork...
You become a casualty of the wider war on chocolate cars?
Exactly. The officer isn't looking for you, but if you look suspicious, he has to investigate. The rumor that they're taking everyone's cars is false. But the reality that they're checking paperwork more strictly, that is absolutely true.
That's a crucial distinction. It's not a raid, it's an inspection.
Right. Panic is unnecessary. Preparation is mandatory.
Okay, let's wrap this up. For anyone listening who's planning that drive down to El Rosario next week, what are the golden rules?
Rule 1, validity. Keep your U.S. registration and license valid. If your tags expire, your car is illegal, period. No letter is going to save you.
Got it. Don't be lazy with the DMV.
Rule 2, the folder. Carry the 1040, the utility bill, the letter. Don't leave them on your desk in Merced. They need to be physical paper in the car.
And rule 3.
Know your story. You are an immigrant for living, but a taxpayer for finance. Don't mix them up. and memorize that Spanish phrase.
It's funny, we think of Baja as this place of ultimate freedom, the open road, the desert. But what we're saying is that in 2026, that freedom comes from a binder full of paper.
It's a reflection on rights versus conditions. You have a right to transit the free zone, that's true. But that right is conditional on you being able to prove your life is elsewhere.
Feels like the world is getting tighter, borders are getting smarter.
They are. It's all data now. And in a world of instant database checks, the person with the best physical paperwork wins. Every single time.
He with the best paperwork wins. I might get that tattooed on my arm.
It might help at the checkpoint.
Thank you so much for breaking all this down. It went from a really terrifying gray area to a totally manageable checklist.
Happy to help. Safe travels to everyone driving south.
And for you listening, before you throw that surfboard in the back, just take 10 minutes. Organize your glove compartment. Print that letter. It's the best insurance policy you can get for a stress-free drive. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.